Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Welcome to another episode of Girl Let's Talk Diaries. So this is a story time, okay? This is, a story time of the time that I let the other child's, I don't know what to call him, okay? He's not really a child's father because, like I said, I'm taking care of my child by myself. So, I don't know what to call him, okay? So, this is a story time of the time I let him have him for a whole week, okay? And, yeah. So, and this is what I could have blog this, but I didn't. So, but and this happened like I think a year ago. It happened last year. Okay. So let me think. I think at the time I wasn't really talking to him. I wasn't talking to his father at all. I wasn't talking to him. So he hit me up, I think on Facebook, or I don't even remember, on Facebook or whatever. And he like, oh, I want to see my son, blah, 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 blah. And, I'm like, okay, I'll let you see him, whatever. We exchanged numbers, whatever. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not too fond of him at all. I really not. I was living peaceful and I just didn't want nobody to rip my peace. So I really I know the kind of person he is. So he's really just I can't explain it, okay? He's all over the place all the time. It's a headache, okay, dealing with this person. So he talked about he had a job and all that stuff, and he I told him about how I need help with my son. Of course, I need help with my son and everything like that. He's like, oh, I buy him clothes and everything, and it's like some things I asked him, he go get it, but some things I asked him, he don't do it. I was okay with him getting him clothes and stuff. So he asked me what size he wear, what size shoes he wear and stuff like that. And I told him whatever. So I don't, I'm not one of those mothers who oh no, I need the money. No, I'm not one of those mothers. Yes, I did say that he needs to do we're doing a little child support thing without going to the court. So I was trying to have a peaceful co-parenting where we not going to court and all that stuff, because I didn't see the reason. If he just did what he's supposed to do, I didn't have to go to court. But the simple fact is I feel like I had to beg him to do certain things for his son. So at the time, he told me, yeah, he had a job and all that stuff, and I'm like, you're supposed to have it, so because you got a son, you're supposed to work so you could provide for your son. So we was talking about arrangements. Like we was talking about him seeing his son, him having his son. At the time, I was very overwhelmed. Okay, my son is with me 24/7. I don't get no breaks. Okay, unless my dad, help me out. Okay, my dad helped me out sometimes, and he has to help me out on the weekend because he works during the week. So I'm really grateful for my dad. Shout out to my dad. Okay, he helps me on the weekends. Okay, especially the time I go to work and stuff, and that's why I like nights and weekend jobs. I be able to work nights and weekends because my dad be able to have him at that time. But I thought he been missing out on his son for, I think, like around 2 years or 1 year. So he has not been seeing him for like 6 to 9 months. Or the last time he saw him, he was an infant. So I was giving him a chance to see his son. Okay, even though I don't agree what he does, I don't agree with how he. I mean, this is his first child, so it's like he does not know what he's supposed to be doing or what he's doing. So it's like I gotta coach him, or I have to tell him what he's supposed to be doing. Okay, so we both agreed for him to have Zion for a week. Okay, I was very overwhelmed. I was exhausted. I needed that break, a week break. Okay. So, fast forward, we did the parent exchange. I feel deep down, I felt like Zion don't know him that well. So I was kind of nervous Zion might cry, or Zion might who is this stranger? Like, why are you passing me off to the stranger? I have not been around the stranger for a long time. So I was a little nervous about it. I ain't gonna lie, because the simple fact is he lived with someone else. He lived with at the time he was living with his cousin or whatever. And I was like, man, this is kind of cringing, because it's like he had nothing for him over there. He didn't have nothing for him over there. I had to tell him what his diet is. I had to tell him what he eats. I had to, Zion is used to just eating whole cooked meals, because that's what he eats. Not saying he don't cook, but the kind of stuff he eat is like microwave processed kind of food. Okay, I cook my son home cooked meals almost every day. When we eat out, it's like sometimes once in a while. Where was I? He eats quick meals, microwave food kind of thing. So it's like, my son is not picky what he eats. He eats anything. So he's not picky. He might not like certain vegetables though, but he's not that picky. Okay. So he ain't anything, but I still was like, dang, his diet is gonna kind of change. So I was like testing him and see if he can handle having my son. Okay. Cause I'm gonna be honest, like I was thinking about it, like people like, well, why don't you give your child to the father full time? How people are saying on the internet, like, well, you should give the child, the baby to the child full time. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna put him to the test and see he can even last a week. And no, he couldn't last a week. Okay, he couldn't. Almost every day, he was calling me, asking me about this, asking me about that, about him. And he he's supposed to know this stuff. I'm just thinking he's supposed to know that stuff because when I had my child, it didn't come. She didn't come with a manual. Okay, my kids did not come with a manual. Okay, he had his cousin around who had a child. He had his aunts around. He has his whole family around him to ask about, you know, okay, what should I do with a toddler? What things we should do with a toddler? Okay. You know, I know. I'm that like, I just felt like, you know, he's supposed to know this kind of thing. He brag about he watches his nieces and nephews, and I thought, okay, so since you did that, you could have your son for a whole week and see what happens. So yeah, he was complaining about most of the stuff. Okay, he did fun stuff with Zion and stuff like that, and took pictures and sent me pictures, and that's fine. I was happy about that. Like, okay, I see you doing your thing. But when it came from almost end of the week, he starts to complain. He's like, well, I can't find a sitter. I gotta go to work and things. And so he had his cousin watch my son and things like that and whatever. And I said, well, you got your family, okay? You got your family taking care of your son for you while you go to work. But it's like he went through babysitters, like, you know, he kept going through babysitters, I'm going to say. So I'm like, I think this is going to be hard on him. It's really going to be challenging for him because this is his first child. So it's like, this is challenging for him, okay? So, let's see. We were arguing about, he said, well, I hate when people say they're going to do something and don't do it. He like, I will cash it up, you know, $150 or $50 a week or something like that. And then he backtracked and said, I didn't say that, or no, you getting like $25 or something like that. And I'm like, see, this is what I'm talking about. Why are you saying that you're going to give me the amount of money and then you don't, and then you backtrack and say no? And I'm like, you know, I'm not like those kind of mothers that say, oh, you owe me my money, you know what I'm saying? But when you say something, I take up your word. When you say you're going to do something, I expect you to do it, okay? He's the kind of person to say he's going to do something and don't do it. And I don't like people like that, because now I don't believe you when you say you're going to do something, right? I don't believe you at all, because your words is not holding no weight, okay? I go by actions and not words. So I was upset about that, you know what I'm saying? But, and this is the time I had Zion, all right? But the time he had him, you know, I didn't, you know, pressure him with no money or nothing like that, because he had Zion. So I said, okay, I'll let him have his moment with him, right? And, you know, I was going to have a peaceful week. I really did. I did my thing. I did side jobs while Zion was with him. I able to do more things that I could do, you know, than when I had him, right? But almost at the end of the week, he quit his job, okay? So first he said his cousin can't watch him no more. And then he went there and quit his job, okay? And I'm like, why would you quit your job? Why would you do that? You got to provide for Zion. You know, sometimes we got to work somewhere we don't want to work. Sometimes we got to do what we have to do as parents. I don't care if you don't agree with the boss. I don't care if you don't like the workplace. Sometimes, you know, as a parent, you got to take care of your kids, okay? So you got to suck it up. You know, you have to suck it up. So he quit his job without a backup plan. So he just went there and quit his job, okay? And I'm not going to go in detail why, because, you know, I'm not going to go in detail. But that's what happened. And two, he said his cousin couldn't watch him no more. And then he every time I ask, okay, you say you're gonna give me this amount a week or whatever, he make an excuse like, oh no, I owe this person this. I need to fix my little moped bike. Okay, he rides on a moped. Okay, I gotta do this. I gotta owe somebody this. I need to get this and get that. Okay, so that made me a little upset. So I had to, I knew he wouldn't be able to handle him for a whole week. Because mind you, my son is a handful. He is a handful. Okay. But, yeah, he quit his job. He didn't have no babysitter. Then he like, let's look for a babysitter. This before he quit his job. Let's look for the babysitter. And or he like, I'll pay for a babysitter for you so you could go to work. Because I was mad. I need someone to watch him while I trying to find work at the time or go to work. Because I was doing like little side jobs. So I you know, he like, well, I can find you a sitter and I pay for it. No good and well, he was about to quit his job. Now, how are you going to pay for a babysitter when you're about to quit your job? Something told me, don't do that, because he's going to quit his job or you're going to end up having to pay this babysitter. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't have money like that at the time to pay for a babysitter, okay? I didn't have money like that. So I'm like, I don't know. I just don't feel like I should go and we have a babysitter, because the thing is, I don't believe anything you gotta say. You be saying you're gonna do something and you don't do it. So I kept telling him that you can't just get a babysitter and say, okay, you know, 1 week and the babysitter need their money and then you not giving them their money, okay? I don't want to go through something like that. So, so I said, you know, no to that. He was stressing. He was really like, I don't know if I can, you know, it's like, I can tell he's like, I don't know, I can handle this. You know, I'm like, I don't know, he can handle this. And it didn't seem like he could. Okay, because look, having a child is a full-time job itself. And so you have a job and a child, you see how hard it is. So I was trying to get him to see how hard it is to be a single mother. I was trying to get him to see how hard a single mother has to go through when they have a child full time and have to work. Because some of these men out here be bashing single moms and being like crying about child support and crying about, you know, you want more, you want too much and stuff like that. But they don't understand what it really feels like to have the child full time and to take care of the child, and you have to provide for the child. It costs a lot more money to have the child full time than to pay child support. I think, in my opinion, child support is the easiest thing. Child support is the easiest way out because all you do is pay money. That's it. You don't have to worry about doctor's appointment when they go to school clothes and stuff like that. You don't have to worry about, man, I need to pay for a babysitter. You know, babysitter is like $300 a week, okay? They don't have to worry about, can't work certain jobs or certain days or certain hours because I had to have my child at that time. So they don't understand none of that stuff. They don't understand to really actually have a child full time and doing it by yourself, because usually they have their aunties helping them, their grandmas helping them, people around them helping them. So I was trying to get him to see how it looks like in my world. You know what I'm saying? And pretty much that's what I was trying to do. Get him to see what it's like in my world. Because I'm so sick of, them bashing moms and bashing moms when it is the hardest freaking work ever. Like, it's hard. And then I see on social media, I see like, oh, give the child up to the father full time. And then I see men crying and want to give the child back to the mother because they can't do it. They can't handle it. So for him, he couldn't handle him for a whole week. Okay, I only gave him a week. He couldn't handle it at all. So he gave my child back. Of course, I got my son because I don't want my son to be in a bad situation, or because I didn't feel like he was ready. He didn't really have anything for him. I had to bring stuff from this house to where he lived for Zion, because he didn't have nothing over there. He didn't have a bed for him. He didn't have a potty for him to train him in. I had to give him a potty, which is now gone. It's missing. I had to do all of that stuff. He didn't have anything. He had to buy him clothes. He had to buy him toys. He had to buy him shoes. And to me, that's the only half of it. Okay, that's only a half of it. And then he got his family watching him. So, what I'm saying, I don't know if he paid them or not, or to watch him or not. I hope he did, because, even though that's your family member, you know what I'm saying, they have a life too. So, you know what I mean? So, but I was trying to get him to see what it's like to be a single mother or single father, right? Because there are good single fathers out there that take full responsibility of their actions. Okay, they take full responsibility of their children. Like, my dad was a single father. Okay, he did it all by himself. And so if my dad could do it by himself, then you can do it by yourself. And that's how I look at it. I was raised by a single father. Okay, so I know a single father can do it. Okay, and my dad had a help of my grandma. Okay, rest in peace to my grandma. But he had help. Okay, my grandma was like a mother to me. So I'm not even going to go deep into that conversation, but I'm just saying, I know there's some fathers that can take care of their children full time and be responsible. But in my case, I felt like my son would be not in a good environment. I just felt that way. And this guy don't have a stable home, okay? Things he told me about what's going on with his living situation. I'm not going to go in detail, okay? I'm just telling you, I don't think my son will be okay. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I was not thinking, at the time. But this guy, he jumped house to house, home to home, and that's not really good and stable for a child. Okay, a child needs a stable home, a stable roof over their head, and things like that. So my son wouldn't even be in the best environment at all. Not only that, this guy, he tends to quit his job when things don't go his way or something's happening, that he don't like. He could go there and quit his job instead of just taking responsibility. Look, I don't think anybody working a job that they like Okay, there's some people love their job. Some people love where they work at. But most people out here are working jobs they don't even like, but they have to do it to take care of their responsibilities, especially if they got kids. Okay, you know, it might not be your forever. It might not be a job you're gonna work for the rest of your life, but it's something now so you could make some money. Okay. This guy is not good with money at all. He wastes his money. He always owes somebody something. This is why he couldn't keep up with the payments, because he's always owing someone some money. And see, I gave him grace. I say, okay, all right. I didn't take him to child support. I never because I did see him like struggling and things like that. But I think I was being really nice, okay? Because it could have went to another direction where I'll be like, I don't give a crap. I'm going to take you to court. I'm going to do this and that. But I was so lenient. I was being so nice. Okay, I was a people pleaser. I wanted the person to be comfortable. Okay, I'm not like that no more, okay? But that's another story, all right? I'm not going to put the whole business out there, but there's a reason why I can't really take this person to child support, get child support anyway. I'm not, I'm not even going to say anything, okay? Because I can't even do it. There's a reason. I know I'm going to get nothing. So I really don't see the reason, okay? So, yeah. He couldn't handle it for a week. And he like, well, I quit my job. I can't take care of him. I can't help something, and it took a whole month. He said I had to I guess he's trying to find work, another job or something. It took a whole month after that, and I'm like, you know what, you playing around. And I cut him off. Yes, I did. Because look, in my opinion, you need to get your stuff together. How can you take care of your son if you can't take care of yourself? Okay? If you can't even take care of yourself and get your life right, you can't take care of him. Okay? You can't even, you can't. I don't even want to go. I'm the one that got to drive. I'm the one that got to do every single thing. I feel like I had to put 50% while he put 20%. Okay? I didn't want to do that. So yeah, I had to cut him off because, dude, you're not getting your life together, okay? You don't have a stable home. You don't have a car to drive. You don't have none of that stuff. You need to get your life together, and you're older than me. Mind you, this guy is older than me, okay? He's older than me, and you don't have your life together, okay? So I saw no way he can really take care of him and my son being a safe, comfortable environment for him. He don't have that. So I felt like he has to come back to me. You know what I'm saying? He has to come back to me. I'm not saying I have it all together, and because I don't have it all together over here either. I'm over here trying to find me another job that's work my schedule, work around my child's schedule and things like that. I don't have it all together over here either, but I'm going to tell you one thing. I've been blessed with opportunities. I've been blessed with able to stay here. You know what I'm saying? Even though I was going through what I was going through, man, I was going through situations too. I remember I didn't have money for food at one time, and I had to go down to the food bank and for us to eat. I had to go to 3 different food banks for us to have food. So I don't have it all together over here either. But the simple fact is, you have only yourself to take care of at the time. Yes, you have your son, but you have yourself to take care of. You could wake up every day and just decide what you're going to do. You could wake up every day and go straight to work, where I have to worry about getting a child up to and taking him to daycare. You have that luxury, okay? I don't have that. Okay, I had to think, okay, I got to get a sitter. All right, I gotta get a sitter that's in a good price range, because I cannot afford $300 a week for a babysitter. Okay, I can't do it. I can't do it. That's too much. So the only good option I have is my dad when he comes from work, because he works during the day. So that's why the night shift is better for me than nights and weekends, because my dad is at home and my dad could watch him while I go to work. So I do this overnight shift, and that works for me, okay? But it's been a little hard for me lately. It has. It's been a little hard for me lately, and I had to find ways to make some extra money. I had to find ways to bring income, but like, I've been stable so far. But yeah, that I should make that another video and I put it in this video, because this video is way too long. But yeah, at the end of the day, he couldn't handle it and I had to cut him off. So I didn't want to deal with his drama, his complaining, his like he have no clue what he's doing, or he have no clue what's going on. Like, I couldn't deal with none of that. It's like I had to babysit him the whole time. Like, that's what I felt like. I had to babysit him the whole time, and I just felt like he was not ready. He wasn't ready. So yeah, that's it for the story time, y'all. I hope y'all like this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay.